Welcome back to my channel with me, Mandy Rose, the intuitive creator. We're going to do something a little bit different, but a series I had started a few years back, but have only done one video on. So we're going to do a look back at 2018, the shoots that I did that year, and look at some re-edited photos from that year. So comparing editing styles and like seeing progress. You know, this is something I like to do personally, to see like where I used to be and see how I've improved a lot of things and maybe even like improve even more. If there's anything you need from me, there's information down in the description box below. So let's get right into it. We're looking back at the shoots that I did in 2018. So at the time I was living in Los Angeles. If you don't know, I lived there for 5 years. But I was getting into more of like product photography, studio type of style, and then I was diving deeper into like yoga and wellness types of shoots or types of content. We have 3 examples right here, and I'm not going to be going over all of the shoots that I did in 2018. That would take literally forever. We are going to look at some. So I'm going to go right into a yoga shoot really quick. So this is the original edit, right? Yes, the original edit. This is a shoot I did with Mandee and Angela. What I had done was I invited a bunch of yoga teachers and yoga practitioners that I knew to do like a group type of shoot, but these are the only 2 that ended up being able to come that day. And as you can see, it was not exactly clear blue sky. It was pretty overcasty. But I'm not really afraid of shooting in those kinds of conditions anyways, so I decided to continue anyways. With that said, I really enjoyed their energy. Mandee is actually one of my first yoga teachers ever. And Angela I met at Core Power Yoga. I think the Redondo location. They're both really wonderful humans. So lovely. Cannot talk any more highly of them, really. I went back and I re-edited this photo because this is one of my favorites from the shoot. I had done individuals with each of them, but the group shots, like them together, were like some of my favorites. So bringing them side to side, you will see what we got here is, it's like I added a bit of more warmth to their skin because I personally like that. I don't like when it looks like ashy or like grayed out. There's not a whole lot of color. So I brought back a little bit more color back into skin, but also into a bit of the background, like the sand. There's sand in this location. And Mandee she's a redhead. So I want to kind of make her look like she is actually a redhead. You know, with that, I also turned down a bit of the highlights. I really enjoy doing that in photos just because sometimes it takes out some of the details. I definitely did take out some highlights, and I never mess around with saturation ever. I'd rather change the hue and work with like the hue of the colors, and that's more natural. So I feel like overall this was a much better edit, although I didn't do a ton that was different. And I also, another big difference between these 2 is the original edit, I had a gradient map, but this one I did not, just because I didn't feel a need to. So yeah, I really love their facial expressions. It's very, like they're in the moment, they're very present. And it's almost as if the camera really isn't there, which is great. So let's get into a bit of what I was talking about previously. Like I started getting into product photography. So I had this really great opportunity to do like a trial run with BH Cosmetics. And they sent me some products to do stuff at home, but you know, I didn't at the time have like an actual studio. So I did what I could. Believe it or not, this photo with some of the brush, bit of the brush set that they sent me, is on top of my dresser. And I had a big piece of canvas paper, and I wanted to create like some shapes and interest in here. Yeah, I felt like it also worked with the gold handles and stuff, the gold and black. But as you can see, there's a, you know, there's a bit of a flash circle, or a flash orb, I should say. And I, at the time, like, I was still learning how to use flash for this type of photography. So I don't love that, but it is what it is. I didn't re-edit this photo. What I did do though was a few years later, I reshot with this similar brushes, and it was some of the other stuff that they had sent me. So they sent me a primer and a eyeshadow palette. And at this point, I have actual photo paper specifically for product photography. As you can see, it's more of like a warm tone tan color paper. And I used my zoom lens for this one, I believe. Yes, I did. And I just felt like overall it was a better shot, a better way of selling the products overall, and I'm super proud of it. And I also really had so much more fun than this one, because originally I felt so like not confident about what I was doing. I was just experimenting and doing my best to create something that made sense, at least in my mind. The newer one is much more of a representation of my style now. I also really like the details that came out. Again, I used my zoom lens. I wanted more details of the product. You can see the actual texture of some of the eyeshadows. Some of them are matte, some of them are satin. So I also did some shoots with a good friend of mine, Jean. He is a model. He does acting. I mean, he does poetry. He's just an all-around super creative, talented man. And he was also just someone I grew close to when I was living in El Segundo. And that's exactly where we shot this. Actually, the other shoot with Maddie and Angela is also in El Segundo. I really loved shooting in that area. I don't know. We did like some running, fitness-esque lifestyle shots, and this was one of the ones that I was like, man, this would be like such a great one for like men's running or something like that. And he also agreed. He really liked this photo as well. This is the original edit, and again, overcast, because that seems to be a theme. But I actually really enjoyed that because it worked well with the scenery. A little bit of greenery. He's running up steps here, and as you can see, he's obviously quite fit. I'm gonna go right into the new edit. So again, I did the same thing. Turn down the highlights so you could actually see more of definition in his body, and especially with the top of his head into his forehead. I also warmed up the skin because I don't know why I wasn't doing that previously, but you know, we live and we learn. I actually really love this so much more. Again, more detail. I actually took out some of the spots on the side wall behind him, or onto the side of him really, and felt like that was a better cleanup, because that's how I am. I like to clean up my photos as much as I possibly can. I like simplistic, and I want my subject to be the focus, not necessarily the background. That's why I try to choose simplistic backgrounds and locations. Overall, I feel really good about this. You can actually see more of, again, the details in his face and his body. Because, you know, that's kind of the point of this kind of shoot, you know? So going back to cosmetics. So I also was really thankful years back. I was sent eyeshadows and lipsticks by this wonderful, wonderful human. who started Maisie Cosmetics. I think that's how you say it. Maisie. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if she still makes it, but she makes like really like bright, vibrant type of colors. And that's what kind of drew me in. And I actually have used these a good amount in some of my shoots, which was kind of where the collaboration came through. So this was the same year I did the BH Cosmetics stuff. And believe it or not, the pink background you're looking at is a piece of leather that was given to me at the time. If you zoom in, there's texture, and that's what I kind of originally liked. I felt like it did well with the mesh bag being blue, and then in her logo is pink. So I felt like it made sense. When I look at it now, I think that there's not enough contrast or interest in it, and I just felt like, it's not as good as it could be. So I actually reshot it, and this is the reshoot. So again, I have real photo paper. This time I show the real lipsticks and some of the actual colors of the eyeshadows, and I felt like the direction that I put everything in and placed it was creating more interest as well. And again, this is with a zoom lens, so you have way more detail and more in focus. So I felt like this was a much better version of what I was attempting to do. I'm not even sure what I was trying to do. Again, I didn't feel very confident. This was my first time really getting into doing this. So like, it is what it is. Anyways. So those are some re-edits of old shoots. I hope that this was entertaining at the very least, and you got something out of it, or just like maybe you as an artist, whatever medium you have, you enjoy doing this as well. I would love to hear more about that. Or maybe you just start doing this, because I appreciate going back and learning, you know, wow, why was I doing this type of edit during this time? And where was my brain at the time? Or how can I improve that? Because I do like that, but how can I make it better? You know, and being introspective is really helpful when you want to grow in your craft. So that's something I want to share, but also instill into others. And yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this content. Please like, share, subscribe, all of those YouTube things. I greatly appreciate it if you do. If you need anything from me, it's in the description box below. I'm going to link all of these wonderful people and their Instagrams or their websites or whatever links I can find, so that you can go follow and check them out as well. So, all right. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.